One and all to the Namaqua Unitarian Universalist congregation. We're gathered here in person in the sanctuary. We also have folks who are joining us on Zoom. So welcome to everyone. My name is Laurel, and I serve as the minister of this warm, wonderful, bright, beautiful, justice-loving community of seekers. You know, today is Mother's Day, but I wonder whether you know that it was actually a Unitarian woman, Julia Ward Howe, who created something that is the predecessor of the way that we celebrate, well, kind of the way we celebrate Mother's Day today. So Julia Ward Howe was the author of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and it was in 1870 that she created something called the Mother's Day Proclamation. And what it was is a rallying cry to the women of the day to unite for the cause of peace. So many, many mothers lost their sons, their brothers, their husbands in the Civil War. And so it's actually included in our hymnal. You may want to take a look at it sometime. It's number 573, and it begins like this. Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether your baptism be that of water or of fears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. So this reminds us that Mother's Day is definitely more than about flowers and chocolates. And as I think you know, given the leaked opinion by the US Supreme Court that indicates their intent to overturn Roe versus Wade, I think if Julia Ward Howe were alive today, and we who are her successors will once again call on all people to arise. So once again, to rise up to protect the decades-long right for women to be able to choose to have a child. And so in that spirit, let's go ahead and ring the bell and let people know that we are here. And one of the things that we know as Unitarian Universalists is that we do not need to think alike to love alike.
We pause this morning from the chaos of the world to reclaim the beauty within these walls that carry us through our week. With the kindling of this flame, we lift this community onto our shoulders with pride and grace-filled expectations for our children and our children's children. Come, let us worship together.
And our congregational affirmation is something that we say together in unison every Sunday. So please join me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. If you'll now please rise, and in your great hymnal number 23, bring many names, and we will sing all 6 verses.
Holiness and glory.
I invite those of you who are here in the sanctuary to keep that gray hymnal and turn in the back to number 657. It's called "It Matters What We Believe" by Sophia Lyon-Foss. So number 657. Sophia Lyon-Foss was an educator, a dedicated teacher, and actually a revolutionary because she transformed Unitarian Universalist religious education. She believed that instead of telling children what they ought to believe, that children were encouraged to ask questions and decide for themselves as they grow with experience what they believe about religion and spirituality, about the universe, about human nature. So she had great respect for children. And so Claire and I will be reading the responsive reading. I'll start and read the print that is in regular print, and then Claire and you all, and if any of you at home have, well, just listen. So some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged.
Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies.
Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears and unknown calamities.
Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness.
Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences unify the path.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction.
Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world.
Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
So that, guess which one we are? Well, a child dedication ceremony is one of my very favorites. It's a Unitarian Universalist tradition that is based on a theology that is very different from a theology that believes that every child born inherits a state of sin. Instead, Unitarian Universalists believe that each child that's born is a blessing that is filled with possibilities of helping to save and savor this beautiful world that we share. Some of you may know a very sweet song that was written by a Unitarian Universalist minister, Fred Small. It's called Everything Possible. And it really moves me sometimes to read the line that begins right before the chorus, because it says it's a song that was never sung to me. And the words to the chorus are, oh, you can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads and know that I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. So that is the message that we want to give, not only to the children in our midst, but to give all of us were kids once. And so many of us were not given that kind of unconditional love. And so one of the things that is so precious about a community like this is feeling like it is a come as you are, and you come as you are, and you are valued. The first principle of Unitarian Universalism affirms the inherent worth and dignity of everyone. So today's ceremony is one that we haven't held for a few years because it really needs to be in person. And what we are doing is making promises to support and cherish the children who are growing up in this multi-generational community. And we are recognizing those possibilities, those vast possibilities of what these children's lives will be like as they unfold into their lively, unique human beings. Khalil Gibran calls the house of tomorrow, which we cannot visit even in our dreams, the reality that they will be inheriting the world that we as adults leave them. And so we want to give them the best possible start. And I know that my son, Marcus, who grew up in a Unitarian Universalist church since he was 3, felt passionately enough about this faith to now raise his own son. And he, like me, is a Unitarian Universalist minister. And it has made all the difference in the world for him to be part of a community like this. And so I want to call forward now the young families who we will be dedicating their children. So we've got Michael and Hannah and Harmony and Caitlin and Ocean. And actually the other kids, if you could kind of come up and maybe sit on the steps. So like Milo and Cora, come on up, everyone. And other kids who are with us today, if you want to come on down, you can. You don't have to, but you can. Whoa. Whoa. Come on up. Yeah. What'd he say? Oh, a back, oh yeah, backhoe. Wow. And let me also mention that there's another life that joined our community. Her name is Evelyn Alethea Page Hope Hill. And so she is the daughter of Donna and Curtis, and they're out of town this week, but they've asked if I could dedicate their daughter sometime in the next couple of weeks. So let's invite their spirit to be with us as well. And so, boisterous. Hi, I'm Laurel. Whoa, young growing God right here in our midst. Okay.
Young growing God. He referred to Ocean as a young growing God right here in our midst.
Who is she?
The preacher lady, whatever she is.
Oh, so I want to begin actually by asking you parents, so Hannah, Michael, and Caitlin, to make a covenant, to make a pledge to you. Ocean, I'm going to talk to your mom for a minute. Okay, so she's going to make a promise to you. So hold on, just listen with your ears. So Caitlin, Hannah, and Michael, do you take upon yourselves the privileges and responsibilities of parenting and caring for Ocean and Harmony?
Yes.
And will you strive to teach them by example, to embody the values of love, peace, and justice in their own lives as they grow?
Yes.
And you promise to support them, to help them learn to care for themselves and others, and to thrive each in their own unique ways?
Yes.
Okay. And now a pledge of the gathered community. And so people on Zoom, this was printed in the order of service if you have it. And those of you who are here, it is in the written order of service you were given. So I want to ask you now to make a covenant or a pledge with these children and their parents. And so if you're willing, actually, why don't you rise? This is a ceremony with some gravitas. Uh-oh. Come here. Okay, so it is our faith that each child born is one more redeemer. So I ask you, are you ready to dedicate yourself to the nurture of these wild children and youth, standing or running before you, and to their families?
Today, in the service,
To read.
we promise to dedicate our hearts to these children and youth and their families.
Right here. Will you strive to love and cherish them in times of struggle as well as gladness?
We will strive to love and cherish them always.
We acknowledge the divine spark within each child. Perfect guardians of these young lives, may we build a community in which they will grow old, embraced by love, surrounded by beauty, and cradled in the arms of peace. And so now you three kids, I have a question for you, because these kids are going to grow up and you're going to be part of their peers, of their community. So here's my question. So do you agree to do your best to accept these children as your friends, to talk with them and share with them and play with them and explore with them? And if you get in a fight, to work things out with them. And if you need to, you can ask an adult to help. And help them when they're having a hard time, and share the joy and fun of life with them. And if so, will you say loud and clear, we do? Could you do it a little bit louder? We do? Do you really? Thank you. Thank you. And so, you want to just sit? So what I'm going to do now is our ceremony of blessing. So each of the children, and actually their mothers, will receive a red rose. So roses are planted in the soil. They are nurtured by the sun, by the air, by water. Wow. And so they do represent the beauty of the earth and of life. And I'm going to dip the rose in what represents what I think of as Namaka holy water. So this is from our ceremony that we do each September when we come back together. So are you okay still standing to witness this? So first, Ocean, come here. So let me ask you, Caitlin, and actually we've got a microphone here. What is Ocean's full name, and is there any significance to how he got that name?
There is. So Ocean's name is Ocean Ray Alexander.
I think it's on.
Okay. And I couldn't tell you exactly when I picked the name out because I couldn't tell you I was in the right mind. But Ocean.
Ocean.
Come here, baby. So I was listening to a lot of song lyrics at the time about oceans, one of which was sitting at the edge, I call to the ocean in me. Come and teach me of your mystery. I am open and I am listening. And so ocean to me means that every one of us is a whole ocean and I might just see the surface, but he's a whole person underneath that.
He is whole and holy.
Thank
So Ocean, come over here for a sec. So I'm going to touch your head really gently with this rose to bless you. So I'm wishing that you have a healthy body, a healthy body and a curious mind, which I know you have, and that in your life, you have a lot of happiness and backhoes, and you know, you're going to be a blessing to the world. A blessing. Okay. So here, Ocean, do you want to have this flower?
Say thank you.
And let's give Caitlin a flower as well. So thank you. And if Hannah and Michael, if you want to come up in harmony. Oh, thank you. So Harmony, I'm going to bless you with this special water and this beautiful rose. This represents how beautiful the world is. And so I'm going to just gently touch you on your head. And Harmony, I hope that you have a healthy body and a curious mind, and that you have a wonderful life that is filled with people who love you and respect you for exactly who you are. So here, Harmony, is a rose for you. And here is a rose for you, Michael, and for you, Hannah. And now, I want to teach you a lullaby. When Francie, my partner Francie, and I, our oldest son, Marcus, when he was a couple of months old, we wanted to thank our friends. You know, it takes a village. We wanted to thank our friends for helping us. And so we invited everyone to a picnic. And in those days, this was in 1986 or say 87, we still used tape recorders. We brought a tape recorder and invited all of the people who were there to go sit down by a stream. And if they had a favorite lullaby, to sing that lullaby into the tape recorder. And there was one song that was sung by our friend Claudia, who's going to be here to sing in the final service on June 12th. And she and her sister sang a song that we sang every night to our son Marcus, and then later to our son Davy. And our ritual group, when our Mother Heart sisters were going through a hard time, we sang it to them. And then when my mother died, while we were waiting for the rest of the family to come, Francie and I sang it to her. So it is this very, very special song to me. And I want to teach it to you and sing it, well, sing it to Ocean, first to Ocean. And so Ocean, what is your favorite color? Do you know what color you like? Yellow? Yeah. Okay. So here's how it goes. Ocean sails in a little yellow boat. Ocean sails in a little yellow boat. Far across the sea. Far across the sea. But ocean, don't forget to sail. Ocean, don't forget to sail home again to me. Home again to me. Sail, ocean, sail. Sail, ocean, sail. Far across the sea. Far across the sea. But ocean, don't forget to sail. Ocean, don't forget to sail home again to me. Home again to me. And so Harmony, what is Harmony's favorite color?
Pink, purple, rainbow. I don't know.
Okay, we'll sing rainbow.
Okay.
So Harmony, wait. Harmony sails a rainbow boat. Harmony sails a rainbow boat. Far across the sea. Far across the sea. But Harmony, don't forget to sail.
But harmony, don't forget to sail
Home again to me.
home again to me.
Sail, harmony, sail.
Sail, sail
Far across the sea.
far across the sea.
But harmony, don't forget to sail.
But harmony, don't forget to sail
Home again to me.
home to me.
So I hope that you may be adopting that song and singing it to some of your own beloveds. So let's form an arch now, and we're going to sing and let the kids now go to religious education in the other room. What we're doing here every Sunday and all the other days of the week as well is building a beloved community and weaving a tapestry of love that we call community. And so every Sunday we do take the time to share our personal joys and sorrows and to celebrate if anyone has a birthday or anniversary. And also happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers and grandmothers. And so does anyone have a birthday around now? And if so, or an anniversary? If so, raise your hand. So Leonard?
Sherry and I's fifth great grandson was born this morning.
Oh, wow. Oh, my. And so is he named yet?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Wow. Well, happy birthday. And
All five were boys.
oh, no kidding. Really, congratulations. And Fred?
42nd wedding anniversary.
All right. So happy anniversary, Fred. Yes.
I'm celebrating a 10th wedding anniversary this Thursday.
All right. Well, happy anniversary to you. And what's your name?
Kara, I'm Terry's daughter.
Hi, Terry and Kara.
I was married at the Foothills Community Church.
All right. Well, happy anniversary. Anybody else here? Is it on Amina?
My birthday is tomorrow.
You're kidding. Happy birthday. So May 9th, a fine day. Happy. Yeah, it's a good one. Anybody else here? How about on Zoom? Oh, I forgot to put the stones.
I've been doing it.
Oh, thank you. This represents, basically, we celebrate with you, and if you need comfort, we send out our comfort to you. That's what's symbolized in moving the stones.
Sally Henry's birthday is tomorrow and she celebrated by rescuing a wonderful golden doodle.
Yeah. We are so happy for Sally. Her dog just died a couple of months ago, and if you've had a dog, you know how empty your house can feel. So anybody else on Zoom? Cherry, let me have you come up and make kind of a joyful announcement, I suppose. So Cherry is one of our coffee angels.
Good morning and happy Mother's Day. You can hear me? Okay.
Kinda.
So I have joys and sorrows to report. I'm thinking back to Mother's Day a year ago. That's why I have my pajamas on.
I haven't noticed.
In case you didn't notice.
I didn't.
Anyway, it wasn't all bad being on Zoom. The wonderful tech crew did such a great job, along with Laurel and the worship associates. but with giving us really good services. And we could just sit there, you know, in our pajamas, maybe throw a scarf on so it's not obvious, and have a cup of coffee and go back to the kitchen for more when we needed some. So, you know, it wasn't all bad. And to tell you the truth, we got kind of lazy. And that's where the sorrow comes in. There, since we're back in together, which is certainly a joy, there's jobs that have to be done. We kind of forgot over the last 2 years. So the two that besides the wonderful tech crew continuing are helping make coffee after the service and ushering. So I want Alice to stand up. Right now, she's in charge of getting ushers. So I want you to know who she is so you can go and offer to help. But also she's looking for someone to just manage recruiting ushers because she's the membership chair and she has other jobs to do. So if you're up to just doing some recruiting every week for ushers, please tell Alice, and that would be a wonderful service. For coffee, since I'm one of the people in charge, so with COVID numbers rising, we have to do coffee outdoors, which is extra work, I have to tell you. So I'm trying to recruit 3 people every Sunday to help make coffee. And don't worry, you'd have plenty of support from people who know how to do it. But I'm going to, when we have coffee this morning outside, there's going to be some sign-up sheets there. And I know there's just going to be a mad rush to go sign up. So you better go fast, you know, if you want to find a spot to help. Let me see if there was anything else. No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Those are my joys and sorrows. And so let's get off our lazy butts and help with these tasks. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you. Oh, so this is Leo.
I am Leo. My wife is having a knee replacement surgery tomorrow. She's super nervous about it. So we're all hoping for a good outcome. I just wanted to share. Thank you.
So thoughts and prayers for Trudy. Andrea.
I'm a big time horse lover and watched the Kentucky Derby yesterday. And the horse that was the least possible to win, in fact, he wasn't even entered the day before, he blew everybody away. And they bought him for just so little money, and they make such a brouhaha about the breeding of this horse, and this horse just blew them away. And if you look at the pictures of it, it's just tons of fun. Puts a big smile on my face. So that was my fun joy.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. Marion?
This is a joy from Shirley Rawson. A number of you, well, most of you probably know her. She and Don moved successfully to Minnesota, and the move went well. And they're in a condo, and she's close to all kinds of things, pickleball courts and 2 universities and her family. And I got an email from her yesterday, I think, and I've got a lot of news. So if you want to know more about her, but they're happy. Their dog Cece is happy, and they say they miss us. So here's to a good move for Don and Shirley.
Shirley, if you're on, we missed you too. And you know, Shirley, talk about pickleball. She's 88 or something. 85. Well, anyway, she is 89. She's amazing. So there's just, you know, their statistics show if you have community, you live longer and happier. So Tracy. Oh, you can't talk. Oh, you're having surgery again on Wednesday. So Tracy Jones, one of our heroes, is having surgery on Wednesday. So we're going to be trying to figure out how to get you a ride. And it's just an outpatient 1-day procedure. She has been through a lot. So we'll transfer stones for you, Tracy. And Tam.
I'm gonna try really not to get a little choked up, but I got, I raised my hand and I said I would be y'all's bookkeeper. And this is my second week. And I just want you to know that the Treasury Committee, Jeannie and Clay and Dick, they were fantastic to interview with. And Clay has been training me on your QuickBooks and whatnot. If you ever wonder, you know, if you ever have a question at how ethical and what great stewards of your contributions you've got, they're incredible people. And it's been a fabulous 2 weeks. So I'm honored to help continue that tradition. Thank you.
Thanks for joining the team. Thank you. Yeah, our people are amazing. So anybody else here in the sanctuary? Leonard?
Just a quick word for longevity. Shirley is 89
Yeah.
and she served coffee here for many, many years.
Yes. Yeah. So you'd be following in a great tradition. And when we used to meet in the high school, she would come early and she would actually carry the coffee urn in and out. You know, we had church in a box and she was one of the people who kept the wheels turning. Okay, anybody else? Oh, Jonna.
I guess this is a joy, at least it turned out that way, but I have a cautionary tale. I was feeling poorly for several days, several days, but I rarely get sick. And my solution is just go to bed, go to sleep, you'll get over it. Well, last Saturday, Ed drove me because I didn't feel up to driving. I went to get my toenails done, a pedicure, and it really needed it. But I was sitting there in the pedicure chair, and the next thing I knew, one of the other patrons was saying, "Ma'am, ma'am," and I came to. They called the EMTs, and I ended up going to the hospital. What had happened was that I was dehydrated and my blood pressure dropped so low that I just passed out. Underneath all that was a urinary tract infection. And I'm just here to say, if you feel bad, go to the doctor. They put me in the hospital and started, I had the UTI, it went septic, and then I got a blood infection. So we're talking serious stuff, on the verge of organ failure. So they, over at McKee, they have a great staff, and boy, that first afternoon and night, I don't know how much blood they drew, but they were keeping track of everything. I got home Wednesday and I'm still kind of weak, but I feel better every day. And these undetected UTIs are very dangerous, so just be careful.
And so here you are.
Here I am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, one more.
Just very quick. I have a friend that has been a friend for over 40 years. He's 91 years old. We're about ready to celebrate his 70th wedding anniversary. And he's always been sharp and even tempered. And it looks like he's losing both quickly.
Oh. Old aching God, yeah. You know, one of the things about a congregation or a community like this is the wheel of life. So we have births that we celebrate, we have weddings that we celebrate, we have rituals like our water communion. And then this next Sunday, we're going to have a memorial service for one of our members who died a couple of weeks ago. So it's the whole shebang. So please repeat after me. In our joy and in our sorrow, We are not alone. Beautiful song. So ushers, come on. It's time for us to receive our offering. And one of the ways Namakwa walks our talk is that we split our offering every quarter with a local nonprofit that embodies our values. And so for this quarter, it's called SAINT, Senior Alternatives in Transportation. So please be generous and enjoy Ryan's lullaby. So please repeat after me to bless our offering. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. To the vision of this congregation. To the vision of this congregation. Which is to radiate love, peace, and justice. Which is to radiate love, peace, and justice. As together we work to grow beloved community. As together we work to grow beloved community. Did you know that Anne Lamott, the writer, hates Mother's Day? She hates Valentine's Day too. Well, she's kind of cynical, but there's a grain of truth in her gripe, which is that Mother's Day, for one thing, romanticizes mothering, which is not always easy and frankly is not always done well, but it also leaves people out. And so she describes how non-mothers have to sit in their church and endure all of this hoopla and celebration that honors mothers. But you know, Mother's Day has become so special to me. Not only am I a mother, and I just opened this bouquet of flowers, which is from my sons. It says, I love you forever, love you for always. But also, did you know that it was exactly 11 years ago today that I was called to be your minister? So how many of you were there on that day? Yeah, so actually, I teased Mim about this. I know that Mim was there because Mim was the moderator for the service that day. It was kind of like my audition to be your minister. And so this was before the days of worship associates. Mim was the chair of the worship committee, so she had the honor of being the moderator. And at some point when she was kind of being the MC, she looks down and she says, well, I guess Reverend Laurel likes music because we're gonna sing again. And you're right, Mim, I really like music. During the service, the interim minister, the one who was here before me, Todd Strickland, and I co-dedicated actually 9 children that morning. And so some of the children have grown up, you know, they've gone to high school, they might be in college, others moved away, some have kind of dropped out. But I remember every single one of them. And one of my jobs as I leave this ministry at the end of this church year is that we have our membership book that's kind of like a holy Bible for a congregation. And I'm going to record all of the names of the children who we have dedicated, all the weddings that I've performed, all of the memorial services that I've performed. This is our shared history. And one of the songs that we sang 11 years ago during that service was one of my favorites that we sang as our opening hymn this morning about Bring Many Names. And actually, I think part of why I get emotional when I read this is that Todd that morning walked in bearing a bouquet of flowers, and I thought that is so classy for that minister to welcome me in that way. Well, it turned out it was from my kids. And I did burst out crying. And then this woman who, she doesn't come here anymore. I don't know, Lori Lynham, if you still watch on Zoom, but I'd never even met her before. And she just opened her arms. And there I was, this sobbing new minister, just being embraced by this mother who had 2 of her children who we dedicated on that day. And did you know, it was actually in that very first sermon that I mentioned the concept of wabi-sabi. So I did my internship at the First Unitarian Society of San Francisco, and the organist there, Raiko Lane, was from Japan. And she told me about wabi-sabi. So wabi-sabi is a concept of beauty in the Japanese culture. And it finds beauty and harmony in simple, imperfect, warm, and comfortable things. It finds beauty in things that are old, things that are perfect because they're just manufactured without thought, are not worth anything compared with something that is imperfect but handmade. And the reason that I wanted to introduce the congregation to that concept is that I was kind of old and I was imperfect. And what I knew even during that first day was that I would, during some point in my ministry, disappoint you, and that you would probably disappoint me, but that we were in this together, and that it wasn't perfection that we were after. It was warmth and honesty and integrity and forgiveness and all the things that you can't learn when you're, you know, I love hiking in the mountains, but you have chosen to spend this day with us in the sanctuary. And it's because there are things that you learn in community or in families that you can't learn on your own. And they are the skills that will help us welcome the possibility of actually of a world of peace with love. So I remember that after the service was going to be the congregational vote. So Francie and I were scooted out of the building. We were at Ferguson High School at the time. We went over to the Starbucks on Eisenhower and waited while the congregation voted whether to call me as the minister. And after a short while, it was Dan O'Brien, who was on the ministerial search committee. He gave me a call. He said, look outside, the smoke is white. He was raised Catholic. And so, and sure enough, it was a unanimous vote to call me as your minister. So I had said yes, that I did want to be your minister. In the vote, you said yes, that you wanted to call me as your minister. And so Francie and I, in our rental car, we drove up to the parking lot outside Ferguson High School. Here was this group of people who since then I've gotten to know and love so much. And because we were in the high school, what we had are some plastic cups with some sparkling apple cider, and we toasted to our future together. And then we sang, "Let It Be a Dance We Do." And what a dance it has been. So we've worked really hard together these last 11 years, and we have had a heck of a lot of fun. And so one of the things I know is that it takes all of us to make this work. And so there's a poem that I love that I want to close with. It is called Invisible Work. You know, Khalil Gibran calls work love made visible, but there is a lot of love that is invisible. And so this is a beautiful poem. It's appropriate for Mother's Day, but it's appropriate for every day. It's by Alison Luterman from a book called The Largest Possible Life. Because no one could ever praise me enough, because I don't mean these poems only, but the unseen, unbelievable effort it takes to live the life that goes on between them. Because of this, all the time I think of invisible work. About the young mother on welfare I interviewed years ago who said, "It's hard. You bring him to the park, run rings around yourself, keeping him safe, cut hot dogs into bite-sized pieces for dinner. And there's no one to say what a good job you're doing, how you were patient and loving for the thousandth time, even though you had a headache. And I, who am used to feeling sorry for myself because I am lonely, when all the while, as the Chippewa poem says, I am being carried by great winds across the sky. I thought of the invisible work that stitches up the world day and night, the slow, unglamorous work of healing, the way worms in the garden tunnel ceaselessly so the earth can breathe, and bees ransack this world into being, while owls and poets stalk shadows, our loneliest labors under the moon. There are mothers for everything, and the sea is a mother too, whispering and whispering to us long after we have stopped listening. I stopped and let myself lean a moment against the blue shoulder of the air. The work of my heart is the work of the world's heart. There is no other art. And so for all of you who do work that is both visible and invisible, from my heart to yours, I say thank you. So thank you for keeping the whole shebang, all the wheels turning, that is worth everything. So may it be so. It takes a village, and we are the village. And so let us now sing together. We are dancing Sarah's Circle. So it's in your hymnal, in the gray one. Number 212, 212. extinguish our chalice.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
E. Cummings wrote this. He said, I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the blue true dream of sky. And I forget the rest, but it has something to do with invisible and eternal. And it's all about yes, yes, yes. Well, just a couple of quick announcements. I mentioned that next Sunday we do have a memorial service for Nancy Horowitz at 2 o'clock here. And it will be after a really incredible service because our young intern, Claire, whose ministry is often in the prisons in Colorado, has directed an amazing film called These Walls. And so next week, as our service, in place of the sermon, we will be able to watch Claire's creativity. It's powerful. We also have, let's see, we mentioned the coffee hour. Oh, next Sunday or next Saturday, we're going to have some people who are interested in starting a drum circle again. Come at 10 o'clock in Parker Hall and bring your drums and percussion instruments, and we'll see whether we can get something going. And also in May, we're going to have an evensong service. This is a midweek service that's only for about a half an hour, but I'm hoping that that also might be something that will stick, that will be kind of an oasis in the middle of the week for members of the community to come together, some quiet contemplative time. And then also we will try again after COVID to reinstitute our monthly open mic night. So what we do is on a Friday night, we come in here at around 6:30, and it's a super safe place for people to have the nerve to maybe, like Brenda Christensen did, she played her ukulele and sang for us. And it also might be a dry run for our talent show that's going to be on the night before my final service. So on June 11th, we're going to have a talent show. So any of you who feel like you have some talent that you would like to share, come on out for our open mic night. Okay, and so what I'd like to end with is our UU blessing song. So if you don't mind, stand again. This is a call and response. For those of you who may not know a whole lot about Unitarian Universalism, this is, whoops, Unitarian Universalism in a nutshell. So I will sing, It's a Blessing You Were Born, and you will sing back, It's a Blessing I Was Born. I'll just do it like this. Ready? Oh, I think I need to hook it up. Or we could do it a cappella. Let's just do it a cappella. Well, I don't know how that'll be. Let's try it out. See what about takes a village. Thank you, Leo. Okay. All right, now you're ready. It's a blessing you were born. It's a blessing I was born. And it matters what you do. And it matters what I do. What you know about God. What I know about God. Is a piece of the truth. Is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty you love. Let the beauty I love. Be what you do. Be what I do. And you don't have to do it alone. And I don't have to do it alone. It's a blessing we were born. It's a blessing we were born. And it matters what we do. And it matters what we do. What we know about God. What we know about God. Is a piece of the truth. Is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty we love. Let the beauty we love. Be what we do. Be what we do. And we don't have to do it alone. And we don't
have to do it alone.